In a charity livestream last night, Zack Snyder revealed a lot of interesting details about Snyder Con, including what full circle means. Hey everyone, welcome back to our movie news. Last night, Zack Snyder attended a charity livestream held by the Nerd Queens to talk about Snyder Con and AFSP, and he revealed some information about the exciting event happening next month. But he didn't just talk about DC movies though, he also talked about Rebel Moon, but I will make a Road to the Rebel Moon video specifically talking about all the exciting updates for that movie and universe. So what did he have to say about DC? Well, we first start with the fact that Jim Lee will be creating exclusive t-shirts for the event. Jim Lee is a fantastic comic book artist, so these t-shirts will look incredible. Snyder also confirmed we will be getting a DC Trinity poster, which I assume is why he's been posting about the Trinity. He confirmed tickets for the event will be available from Friday, which will be March 24th. So if you want tickets, you're gonna have to act fast. And he also confirmed that he is trying to get special guests for the event, and he did look very excited when he said it. Now, with Ray Porter voicing the original teaser, I'd assume he would be there, but he said guests, so I assume Snyder is trying to get multiple people. And with this being a DC event, we have to assume that the guests will be from the Justice League cast. Now, I believe Ben Affleck lives in California, so he would be the most local, but Snyder is probably closest with Ray Fisher right now, as he worked on Rebel Moon with Zack and probably is not as busy as the rest of the cast. But he also did the Man of Steel watch party with Henry Cavill being a special guest to announce the Snyder Cut. So Henry Cavill could be one of the special guests there too. Or maybe because he used the DC Trinity to promote the event and there's going to be a DC Trinity poster, we could see Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot all making an appearance. That would be incredible, but I don't know how likely that is. I think they would only appear if it was for good news. If the Snyderverse was coming back, then I think they would show up. So I guess it really depends on what happens at the event. But then he talked about what full circle means. Now, if you saw my video yesterday, you would know that I had a little fun theory about what full circle means. If you missed that, here's a little snippet of what that theory was. Zack Snyder is a big fan of a writer called Joseph Campbell, but Joseph Campbell talked about full circle being a hero's journey, and is a lot of what Snyder is referring to not only in his latest DC posts, but also his DC films. Now, this is where my full circle theory comes in. I would say his DC story hasn't gone full circle yet. We are still yet to have Justice League 2 and 3. Those are the final two pieces in his DC story. The final two pieces in Superman's journey. Yes, he's had the birth, death, and rebirth, but we haven't had the transformation, which would have been Superman controlled by Darkseid, or the atonement, where the remaining Justice League members go back in time to save Lois and stop Superman being controlled by Darkseid, which would lead to Superman's return to the light, being the beacon of hope and helping take down Darkseid. That would be full circle. Not Man of Steel, Batman v Superman and the Snyder Cut. The final two movies make it a full circle. So it's quite out there, but a fun theory that does make a bit of sense. But Snyder revealed last night that full circle means to go back to the Art Center of College Design. SnyderCon started there, and now it's going back there, but this time with the Snyder Cut. And the AFSP logo is also circular, so it's all full circle. So it makes complete sense, but it is a bit of a shame because my theory did line up quite a bit. With Snyder being a fan of Joseph Campbell and talking a lot about full circle and a hero's journey, I would have thought that that would have been a reference to Campbell's work at the very least. But he didn't mention it. Now, whether or not that's Snyder playing it down to not spoil anything for SnyderCon, I don't know. All I know is that a lot of the time, Snyder does not do coincidences. I don't believe it's a complete coincidence that Joseph Campbell has talked about a hero's journey coming full circle, and Snyder talking about a hero's journey coming full circle on Superman's and Wonder Woman's posts. Surely they're connected, but he didn't mention it at all. So is he not mentioning it on purpose to keep something a surprise for Snyder Con, or were the references to Campbell's work just there as they appropriately tell the story of the heroes, or was it genuinely just a coincidence? Most likely the second answer. I definitely don't think it's a coincidence. Snyder doesn't do them, and I think the first one is an optimistic approach. I try to be as optimistic as I can, but we also have to be realistic. On the livestream, you could tell that Snyder was very happy with his work on Rebel Moon and working with Netflix in general, and it appears he is very busy with them right now and expanding that universe. So I think what we as a fandom should do is go in hoping for the best, but not expecting anything. Don't expect him to say he's back and the Snyderverse is being restored. Go in expecting him to say he's done with DC and he's focusing on Rebel Moon and everything else with Netflix, and this event is just to celebrate his DC movies, but confirming he is moving on. That way, the worst thing that happens is something you expected, and anything better than that is a great surprise. Now, I know not many people believe Grace Randolph, but her tweet from last week does make more sense now. I believe this will be a transition from his DC work to Rebel Moon, with Warner Brothers' blessing. Here the studio is helping in some ways to make Snyder Con a cool event because he is moving to his next chapter. That sounds like what Jim Lee is doing for Snyder, creating exclusive t-shirts and a DC Trinity poster. He wouldn't be able to sell those t-shirts or posters without Warner Brothers' blessing, so that does make sense. And the way he was acting on the live stream last night did imply he has a really exciting Rebel Moon future. So much so that they're working on a game for that universe. So Grace might be right. Snyder might be moving on to his next chapter and Warner Brothers might be helping him to do that. He also liked this post last night where someone was saying how he thinks Snyder is moving on, so he could be approving that theory, but at the same time, he also liked to restore the Snyderverse post. So I really have no idea what to think of Snyder liking posts. I think what we should take from this is not take Snyder's liking of posts as a confirmation or approval of certain things. And I said this on Twitter last night and I'll say it here too. If Snyder Con is Snyder saying goodbye to DC and moving on to Rebel Moon, then I will be gutted but also relieved. I love his DC films and would love to see more of them, but if it means he's at peace and is happy to move on, then I will be too. But all these posts have hyped up the fandom. I won't lie, I will be a bit upset if he's saying he's moved on after these posts have hyped up the fans. But that could be our fault for assuming and overanalyzing something he wasn't implying. I guess time will tell. I just want Snyder to be happy, and if he's happy to move on, then so will I. I just want an answer. Does he want to keep pushing, or has he moved on? Whatever the answer is, I'll be happy. I definitely think the link between his posts and Joseph Campbell were intentional, but it could have just been him talking about a hero's journey and not teasing a future Snyderverse story. Like I said, I think the best thing to do is hope for the best, but expect the worst. Go there to celebrate the movies he's made and not expect any big announcement. No matter what the outcome is, I do think we will get an answer as to whether or not he has moved on. I don't think there is a way this event happens without someone asking him a question about the future of the Snyderverse, so we will get an official answer at that event. But both sides have valid arguments. For pro-Snyderverse return, you have my theory from yesterday, the cryptic posts hyping up the fandom, the constant liking of Sell ZSJL to Netflix posts, and the fact that Netflix loves Snyder and are really enthusiastic about working with him. For those believing he's going to confirm he's moving on, you have him liking the post saying how they think he's moved on, James Gunn's comment about Snyder, and the sheer volume of work he has at Netflix. Both are valid arguments and both are plausible outcomes. I'm gonna stay positive as much as I can up until SnyderCon, as until we have a confirmation from Snyder, I don't think we should give up. I do want to make it clear I don't want to be shooting down anyone's excitement or telling people to give up. I just think we should try and manage our expectations. Definitely keep pushing for the Snyderverse until we have an answer from Snyder himself, but just don't get too hyped for the event, as it might not be the answer we're hoping for. But there is a lot of evidence as to why we should be excited. But I guess we will just have to wait and see what that answer is. So make sure to let me know what you think about all of this information in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon. So until then, have a great day. Bye.